31, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If I can have our Deputy Judge Exec Colton Simpson lead us in the invocation, if everyone continue to stand for the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for this day and thankful for the opportunity to gather here. Lord, we just ask you to bless Grant County, bless the people who make this county run, and the people who live here, Lord. We're just thankful for the continued blessings. We just thank you for all things as we move forward this evening. Give them wisdom, guidance, and direction. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Jenna, if I can have you call roll.
Magistrate Humphrey.
Present.
Magistrate Coldiron.
Present.
Magistrate Riley. Judge Chuck Dills.
Present. And just to make a note that we have Magistrate Jacqueline Riley. She had something that had came up, and she'll be joining us by Zoom here in the courtroom. Item 5, approval of the regular meeting minutes for April 18th, 2023.
Having read, the regular minutes of the meeting on April the 18th, 2023, I make a motion that we approve as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Coldiron, a second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
It appears all in favor. Motion carries. Moving down to fiscal matters. A, approval of the claims on the general fund, the road fund, the jail fund, the ARPA funds, and the forest fire funds, along with all transfers presented dated May 2nd, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims on the general fund, road fund, jail fund, ARPA fund, and the forest fire fund, along with all transfers presented dated May the 2nd, 2023.
Okay, I have a motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, a second by Magistrate Riley. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor. Motion carries. Moving down to item B, we have Jerry Keith with us with the Department of Transportation to discuss the road plans and the flex funds. Jerry, if you could turn the mic on, the button.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Judge, ladies and gentlemen, and Jacqueline, I'm here this year. It's that time to present the RS program to you guys for this fiscal year. I think you all have it in front of you. I'll start. I know we've all been through this. You can follow along if you will, please. But this year's Grant County allotment given to us from Frankfurt is $967,552. So we all know things come out of that. First one being a maintenance and traffic funding. This year they've pulled $386,500 from the allotment. We have a prior undistributed free balance as a county, Grant County District 6, of $436,004. We'll talk about that in just a minute. That was last year's money that was unspent. Judge executive fees, $38.75, and the flex funds for this year, which you should choose to accept, would be $145,133. And Judge just approached me. I did not catch, and I don't think it's on there, I could be wrong, but he feels, and he's probably right, there's an undistributed balance in your all's favor from last year around $6,000.
Around 6,500 is what we're showing.
Okay, I did not see that on Frankfurt's sheet to me, so if that is the case, you'll have that in addition to the $145,133.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, that leaves us $868,000 roughly to spend as a district. So the first thing, item number 6, you can see there, and that's part of that $436,000. Last year when we resurfaced Jonesville Road from Four Corners to Jonesville, it was horrific. And I knew a simple overlay was not going to work on that roadway. We talked different options, and my liaison out of Frankfurt came up. We looked at it together, and I was thinking more of a mill, but he just wanted to do an extra thick surface. So we laid basically 2 surface lifts on that roadway, planned originally to do 1. So that $356,000 expense there for Jonesville Road item number 6 comes from that 436 left from last year. We didn't know what the number exactly was going to be, so we didn't do anything last year RS-wise, knowing we were going to spend it on Jonesville, and it will be done very soon. Change order's been written, and that money will be expended. So the rest of it's fairly cut and dry. We're going to focus on Kiefer Road. This year, 3 miles of Kiefer Road, around $325,000 price tag. We're going to go to Duncan Drive, which is a little service road in Crittenden, off Crittenden Mount Zion, heading to the north. I believe there's a pet cemetery at the end of that. Tom Duncan used to live back there, but Duncan Drive anyway, we're going to resurface that. And then, generally speaking, these aren't, I don't know exactly yet, but we're going to focus on some slide repairs with the rest of our money. I don't know where those will be. I know there is a need. We're in pretty good shape resurfacing wise, but the slides we need to get ahead of. And that'll pretty much exhaust our budget. Now, as the exercise, we always say, if you should choose to leave the flex funds with the cabinet, again, I would put that on slide repairs as well. Those are very expensive. They average probably $100,000 a piece. So it doesn't go very far, but it's something.
Does anyone have any other questions for Jerry?
On the Jonesville Road, is that the second layer that we're laying? Is that what that's going to be?
Well, it's already been done. They laid both layers last year.
Okay.
Last year. So it's complete. It wound up with the 2 inches or a hair bit more on it versus a 1-inch lift.
Okay, so it consumed the 356, is that what you're saying already?
Well, the 356 is still in our purse, so to speak.
Okay.
From what we had left over last year, the 436. So we'll have a tinge more than that to go into our program this year, but yes, that will come from our end.
Do you think it'll hold up as well with the double surface versus the milling?
I hope so. I'd say I was outvoted in that scenario. I wanted to mill and get all that roughness off of there and go in with a nice 1.5-inch layer, but
You were outruled.
I was outruled, and that's fine. But I hope so. I mean, it looks well, it rode
Yeah, it
well
looks
winter,
good.
and I've been down there a few times this spring, so
Okay,
hopefully we'll get some life out of that.
yeah.
And while we're talking about that slippages, Jerry, I guess you all have identified some of the major I think it was driving to Corinth on 25.
Yep.
I think there's some spots that motorcycles are going to wreck on.
The sad thing is I can only spend this money on our RS route, so it wouldn't apply to US 25.
Okay.
I've got to go to what we designate as RS routes. And
Okay.
The ones on 25, that's just a district request. Sometimes I get money, sometimes I don't. They seem to be putting a lot of it up in the northern counties, but when I ask, they help me sometimes when they can.
So do you report those to District 6?
Yeah, basically what I
Okay.
do is I make a list and I say, hey, here's our need, and then I have to get the GSI, the company that repairs those, come out and give us an estimate. And that's what I
Okay.
turn in, and that's what they try to find money.
I was thinking there was another one of the roads, which is probably District 6 also. But I know 25, I think there was 1 or 2 spots that I,
25 definitely, yes. And
Yeah.
we're looking at that.
Jerry, would you be able to give us a summary of the slippages that are not part of the RS roads, but it's specifically US 25, frankly, from Crittenden to Corinth?
Yeah, I would like to ride that again. Yes. I would like to ride that again, just make sure. I mean, these things pop up fairly regularly out of sight. I'm not up and down the road, nor is my crew every day regularly, but yes, we can certainly do that.
Well, that way, to Judge Dills' point, we know for sure that it's at least on District 6's radar, since we know that it won't be covered in the RS funds, that we could be following up, because some of those, at least in District 1, from Mason to Corinth, are significant on US 25.
Yes, I will revisit those, give you a list.
Okay,
It was about
perfect.
2 years ago. I think they gave me the biggest part of $3 million for Grant County, and I spent every dollar of it, and it barely made a dent.
yeah, it's expensive to repair them,
Very,
but they are dangerous.
no doubt.
Okay. Any other questions for Jerry?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion that, and recommendation that we keep the flex funds to spend on county roads.
I make a motion to retain the 145, 133 plus the 6,500 at the county level for the flex funds.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Konar, second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor of saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. Jerry, thanks for coming
Thanks,
up here and
Jerry.
meeting with
Judge,
us.
thank you, and as
Thank
always,
you.
once you get your minutes drawn up, please email me a set of those. I have to send those to Frankfurt as well.
And I know you were getting these figures at the last minute, and I appreciate you.
Last minute, that's a lack of a little detail, but we know what we're going to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you again.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to item C, present for a motion to approve the recommendation of the bids committees, materials and supplies for the Grant County Road Department as advertised fiscal year 2023-2024. Shauna has her report from our bid meeting. Does everyone have that in front of you? We'll start out with, we received bids from Cargill, Kim Crupper, and Rigler Blacktop. We'll start with the bids on stone. The only bids that we received, that we advertised for, was from Kim Crupper. You all have a list of those amounts in front of you. Steve, what do you think the percentage of cost that they went up? Yeah. So I guess we'll do these individually. If you all want to accept and approve the bids for the stone, as our only bids we have at this point. And I think in the past, there really has only been one other company that even put in bids in the past, wasn't it, for the stone?
Yeah, it's over around Butler.
Yeah. So I make a recommendation that we go on and award the stone bids out to Kim Crupper. I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Kim Crupper on the stone.
I second.
I have a motion by Magistrate Humphrey, a second by Magistrate Kodarn. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor, motion carries. So we'll move down to our next, which is Rigler, which has been one of the main providers we've had for years for the asphalt. And you all have the list for the pricing for asphalt surface picked up at the plant, DGA, and also asphalt base and asphalt surface per ton. I entertain a motion that for asphalt to be awarded to Rigler Blacktop.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Rigler on the asphalt products.
I second.
Motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, a second by Magistrate Kodarn. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. Jacqueline, you're a little delayed.
I know. I think we need to work on our high-speed internet connectivity. What do you think?
Okay, we'll move down to our next bids, and that was a bid from Kim Crupper and Cargill. Cargill came in at, on the salt, $123.86 a ton. Kim Crupper came in, delivery next day at $116.85 a ton. I recommend we go with the lowest bid on that for the salt, so that would be a motion I would need for Kim Crupper.
So move.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Codarn. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Appears all in favor, motion carries. Then the last thing we have is on our fuel that every year, we're not able to get bids from the fuel companies. So we've got two companies that are interested in us contacting them on a daily basis on their fuel cost. And that's Likings, who we've used in the past. And also Southern Petroleum has reached out to Steve Tatum and asked to be put on that list also. So Jenna will contact these two individuals whenever we need diesel fuel at the in bulk at the road department for whoever the best price of the day is. If I can have a motion to continue that practice.
I make a motion we continue the fuel purchase as we have in the past.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, a second by Magistrate Codarn. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. I believe that's all we have on that. That is everything, correct, Shauna?
You did good.
Okay, we'll move down to item D. You all have in front of us, or front of you all, a report that is made by the Road Closure Committee. And we have a road closure hearing that I'll open up on the floor on sections of Delaney Road. And then after we do that, we'll do the first reading on the ordinance. Has everyone had a chance to look over the committee report?
Yes.
And just for the audience, Delaney Road is a road that the state had came in and put in a new section of roadway and eliminated two railroad crossings. One has already been removed. So we're taking out a small section on the north end of Delaney that crossed Norfolk Southern tracks and on the south end. And the new bypass road that the state had constructed is completed and is open to the public. Anything we need to add, Stephen?
Nope, that's it.
Is there anyone that here for that public hearing that would like to speak? If not, I'll close the hearing and we'll move on down. In front of you is the ordinance removing these two sections from Delaney Road, our road plan. And that's going to need to be, Stephen, do we need to make a motion on that or just close the hearing?
You just need to close, well, no, you need to make a motion to close the hearing and accept the
Recommendations, okay.
Report.
Okay, so the report you have in front of you from the road committee, which consisted of our road supervisor, Steve Tatum, Chris Monholland, and also Steve Moorline, served on that committee and reviewed what was removed from the road plan. And that's how the report was drafted. If I could have a motion to accept that, after the close of the hearing, to accept that report.
So moved.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, a second by Magistrate Codarn. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor, motion carries. Now we'll go into the second part of it on ordinance 0004-2023-0261 is the ordinance pertaining to the removal based off of the report by the road committee. For discontinuance of two portions of Delaney Road.
This will be the first reading, correct?
Yes, this will be the first reading.
No motion.
No.
Are you going to read the full ordinance, or does it?
We will be posting the ordinance, and then we'll advertise it after the second reading. Anyone that would like to read its entirety. But it's basically the descriptions in the section of the north end and the south end of Delaney Road that has been closed. And for anybody that's been down there, a lot of that road has already been removed for the new roadway. So parts of that roadway no longer exists. It's now in the new roadway. This will act as our first reading of the motion, or of the ordinance. Okay, we have item E, first reading on an amendment of the reporting dates for the collection and subscription fees, membership dues for fire departments on ordinance 0003-2023-20260. And this is on the ordinance of, let me pull that one up. This is on the $25 fee that's collected on our tax bills, reference that's distributed out to each one of the fire districts. After reviewing this ordinance, and this ordinance was passed about 11 years ago, we recognize there's a couple things that we needed to do some house cleaning on. One of them is the date that magistrates will report back to us after receiving information from fire departments on the review of these amounts that we received was May 15th. And the changes that we are amending to the ordinance is basically changing it to August 1st of each year, that the magistrates have to report back to the judge executive on any changes that need to be done on the membership dues.
Yes, Judge, and we coordinated that with the timing that the clerk needs to have that in order to put it on the tax bill.
That's correct. And just for explanation, we believe the reason May was put in 11 years ago, that was the date that they passed this ordinance. So they just put May. It just doesn't line up with our fiscal year on if somebody needed to make a change. It's a little past time to do it. So we corrected that date to August 1.
Yeah, and we also felt, too, that by moving it past the 15th, most budgets, the budgets would already be approved by the cities, so they would have more of an idea of if there was any need to request a change in that.
Funds, correct. Okay, that consists of the first reading of that ordinance. Does anyone have any other questions on it? If not, we'll move down to item F, a resolution 2023-07 for the Grant County Sanitary Sewer District for approved commissioner salaries. This is a house cleaning resolution. It was recognized that there may have been, back when this was passed many years ago, that there may have been not certain things recognized in minutes on this, and this is just a cleanup on the presenting this resolution. Nothing has changed on the commissioners' fees. It's $100 per month for the commissioners and $200 per month on the chair. I just need a motion for the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-07 for the Grant County Sanitary Sewer District to approve commissioner salaries.
I will second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Humphrey, second by Magistrate Riley. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Aye. Appears all in favor, motion carries. We have no old business to report on. Moving down to 8 on new business. A is National Public Works Week proclamation. We have with us two people. One, Tyler Hill is with us from Boone County Public Works. He is the one that had contacted me asking if we would do a proclamation for Public Works. Also, I have with us our own road supervisor, Steve Tatum, that we want to recognize on this proclamation, not just all involved in Public Works, but also our local individuals that work for the Grant County Road Department. Tyler, did you want to say anything to the court?
I just wanted to come up here and thank you guys for doing this for us and recognizing the hard work that our men and women in Public Works all across our individual counties, our individual cities, and the beautiful state of Kentucky that these men and women put in every day. You and I were joking earlier that Public Works doesn't do a really good job tooting their own horn. We don't have a special colored flag. We don't have anything like that. And so just a little bit of recognition goes a long way for the men and women that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears out into keeping us getting places safe every single day. So I wanted to thank you guys for taking a second to recognize all of them.
Okay, Tyler, I appreciate you coming down, and I'm going to ask Deputy Judge Simpson if he'll read the proclamation.
Absolutely. Whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Grant County. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees of all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Grant County to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2023 marks the 63rd Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association / Canadian Public Works Association, and be it now resolved, I, Chuck Dills, do hereby designate the week May 21st through 27th, 2023 as National Public Works Week. I encourage all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the state, done in Grant County, Kentucky, the 2nd day of May, 2023.
Thank you, Colton. Thank you again, Tyler, and thank you, Steve, and all your staff for what you do for the county, and also the rest of the public works here in the county from all of our cities. So thank you all. Okay, we'll move down to reports. You all have in front of you the Treasurer's Report, Animal Shelter's Report, Road Supervisor's Report. Steve, you want to give any updates other than what's in the report? I know that you sent out that they were paving on Eagle Tunnel.
So it's about 2 weeks from now, we'll let these constituents know that have been waiting. Thank you, Mr. Tatum.
So the next location's Blanchett. You want to give an update on Arnold's Creek Bridge? Hey, Steve, if you don't mind, can you come up to the mic? I've had people that watches that they can't hear when you speak from the chair.
Ron English has done his part on the bridge. He's got it built. We're in the process now of doing our part, which is widening the entrance and exit. And we have to backfill it and then resurface it blacktop.
We're going to get all the old concrete out of there from the...
Already done.
Yeah, they've got the old culvert out in the concrete. I was down looking at it the other day. It was looking good. If you all haven't been down, get down and look at it. It's actually a nice bridge.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been down there and looked at it. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't remember about the concrete.
Yeah.
I was looking at the bridge.
They were moving it this week. I met
Yeah.
the dump trucks unloading the culverts out.
We should have it open by the first of next week.
Great.
But going from a low water bridge there to a full-blown bridge with a graded decking,
It's a big improvement.
yes. So our flooding issues can happen because it is a creek and heavy rains, but it's going to be very few now.
Right. It'll cut it, the flooding way down.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Save
Okay.
y'all some time cleaning it out every time
Yeah.
it rains too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A bridge is always better.
Yes.
Yes. And that should last a good while.
Yeah. Should last a long time.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Thank you. You all have in front of you the coroner's or the building inspector's report. And did you get clarification, Shauna, on, did you get
I
talk?
didn't, I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
call her back.
There's quite a few. If you look at that building inspector's report, I was talking to Shauna earlier on it. There's quite a bit large projects going on in the county. So
Yeah, and there was the line item, there wasn't any description, so it just said like Dry Ridge, I think was an 8 million or something
Yes.
like that.
and
I was
that
trying to
we
get-
believe is a hotel. And then you also have out at the outlet center. They're doing the demolition on the far end of the building for Harbor Freight, who will be coming in, and I'll be glad when that comes in. My wife will not be glad when Harbor Freight comes in.
A lot of unhappy women in the
Yes.
county, is that what you're saying?
The other was the property out on Mercedes Drive, which was the glamping campground that had went under, that has sold, and they're getting ready to, and Colton may know a little bit on what the plans there are, if you want to add to that.
Oh, no, I'm excited about.
Oh, yes, they're building
Opportunities, but
cabins,
those
and
small cabins for just more tourism in the county.
and I think that permit was, what, a little over $2 million?
I think so.
Yeah.
2-4.
So these are great investments that's going on in the county for Williamstown and the county at those locations, and also Dry Ridge. So moving down to coroner's report, you all have that in front of you. And we'll move down to jailer. We have our new jailer, Troy Hagedorn, with us. This is day 2 in his position. And I know there's not a whole lot you can report on today, and just we're glad that you're here with us, and looking forward to working with you.
Look forward to working with you guys. It's been an honor to be appointed, and huge undertaking, I'll tell you right now. But the administrative team over there has welcomed me with open arms, as you have, and I expect big things, big changes. And that's not taken away from what Mr. Webster did. The place is running well. It is. It's being run well. We're just experiencing some problems with hiring and things like that, so they're down in staff. But I think that's across the whole gamut of the workforce. It's not just isolated to Grant County Detention Center.
Right.
And it's just a problem for everyone. So right now, moving forward, I felt it was very important that I go through their field training program, and that's what I'm doing right now. I want to be boots on the ground because they need help and operations right now. The management side, the team's running it well, so I'm going to keep relying on them until I'm comfortable with the operations side of it, and I want to know every aspect of that operation. So at some point, I'll be able to report to you some good things, I hope.
Okay. And just as
Thank you, Troy.
I know the magistrates know, Troy's background is, what, 33 years law enforcement, and
33 years law enforcement, most of which here in Grant County. And
2 years at the jail.
I started back in the day underneath Louis Jump when it was a 28-bed facility out on Barnes Road. That's where I got to know Roger and Chuck, and left there, and Roger was chief of police in Dry Ridge, gave me an opportunity to start my career in law enforcement, and then switched over to the Grant County Sheriff's Office under the late Charlie Hudson, and served under Charlie Hudson and the late Randy Middleton and Chuck Dills. So worked under 3 sheriffs. Learned a lot about Grant County and the workings through the governmental bodies. Did a lot of budget preparation, and so I'm no newbie to the game, so to speak. The corrections side of it, there's a lot of similarities between corrections and law enforcement, but there's distinct differences, and that's the side of it I'm going to learn, are the differences between the two. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Look forward to it.
Well, and as I said, I'm pleased to have you come aboard because I know your work ethics You served as my chief deputy for many years, and you're familiar with budgets. You're familiar with the revenue sources we have in the county and how to make the best of it. So I
Well-
appreciate it.
Yeah, and we wish you well.
Moving down to sheriff's report. The sheriff is thankful that he's no longer the jailer. I can report on that for him. So he is glad that we do have someone in that position that will let him continue to be sheriff and continue a great job he's doing. So moving down to judge's report, just report on a couple things going on. If you notice, they're downstairs in the basement. My painter had to have surgery, so that's been a little bit delayed on finishing up. Also, the venue at the Grant County Park, the Fairboard Kitchen that I refer to, electric's been completed. The plumbing may have had an inspection done yesterday on it, so it's moving fairly quickly. So hopefully get that done so that we can get that rented out to the community to have either weddings or family reunions, anything on an indoor shelter. Moving down to magistrate's report, I have start with District 3.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Shauna, District 2.
Chuck and I attended the NKADD meeting Monday regarding the roads in Grant County and the projects that the NKADD supports. And they go through a formality of listing the importance of different jobs, and the Gallatin County's there and Pendleton County's there. And of all these jobs, there's other counties too in the surrounding areas. We go through a process of, we're at our 5th job, and these counties were willing to give up their position to help us out in Grant County, especially on our road design on 491. It's just in the very, very first phase, but I think something should be coming out on the design side this year, aligning US 25 from Crittenden to Sherman, hopefully. But still yet, that's a very, very long process. So, you know, we'll just keep you up to date as we find out things.
Okay. Magistrate Riley.
The only key update is continuing to work with the Northern Kentucky Aerial Development District, Terranomes, and Department of Local Government. We have a meeting this week in regards to the Community Development Block Grant application that we're hoping to qualify for in the south end of the county, specifically Corinth. So still working, and we've got some time to work on that application, but trying to figure out how best to position us in that application before we submit it. So I'm excited about that meeting on Thursday.
Okay. Well, thank you. As you know, it's that time of year budget. We're working on the budget, so we'll be getting some more information out for your all's review, and we'll probably be having some caucus meetings. So, but we'll move down to item 10, citizens address, if anyone would like to speak to the court. If not, I want to remind everybody our next meeting will be held, and it's going to be Wednesday, May 17th, and the reason why is May 16th, our regular meeting date, is Election Day, and between Magistrate Codarn stepping up and helping with the election as a poll worker, I also have Jenna here out of our office that will be helping in Tabitha's office after the election. So we decided it would be better if we changed our date to Wednesday, May 17th at 4:30, and that will be on Zoom. So with that being said, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, second by Magistrate Codarn. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor. Motion carries. We're now adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank
Judge,
you.
thank you for the flexibility to join via Zoom. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Have a good night, you all. Bye-bye.